So today we're going to be doing some blues soloing. I am playing an electric ukulele with the low G. You can do this on any ukulele, low or high G, electric or not. We're talking color tones. So when you first learn to solo, you use the minor pentatonic. And then after that, you add that flat fifth to make it the blues scale. There are three other notes, though, that can really add some color, some funkiness, some flavor to your blues soloing, and I want to go over those, and they're called color tones. New ukulele every Wednesday and Saturday. Subscribe if you like this kind of content so you never miss a lesson. Printable tabs and backing tracks by becoming a Patreon. Links in the notes. Cheaper than a cheap cheeseburger. I also do one-on-one lessons with my email in the description. Let's do it. Ukulele brain attention span. When you got those three things, follow me on in and let's break it down. Color tones. So color tones are what we're going to add to our blues scale to provide color and a little variety. When you're first learning to solo, well, first off, the 12-bar blues in A, you have 4 measures of E7, or 4 measures of A7, and that's your first 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The middle 4 is D7 for 2 measures, then A7 for 2 measures. Measure 5, 6, then back 7, 8. And then our turnaround is 1 of E7, 1 of D7, 1 of A7, 1 of E7. So we get and that is the progression. When you're soloing over that, you're going to use the A blues scale. The A blues scale is the A minor pentatonic, O2, O2, O3, O3, with one extra note, the flat fifth. O2, O2, 3, O3, O3, 3, O3, O3, 2, O2, O2. Our A note is our tonic or a root. So if you're jamming, that's where you want to get to resolve your solo or finish your idea. Now, the same way that adding that flat fifth dramatically changes the scale, the other 3 notes we're going to learn today do the same. So, before we do that, though, let's take a look at each interval in our scale. Our tonic, our root note, A. A blues scale, A minor pentatonic, A blues, A note. That's the tonic. That's the root. In Spanish, they call it la raíz. I think they use root for it. Anyways, that's what we call it when we're jamming in Spanish. Okay, from there, you're going to go to the A note. You're going to go up to the C note. That's your minor third. That is the note that makes an A minor chord. Now, we're gonna revisit that here in a second. After that, we have the D note. Do, 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 do. The D note is what's called the 4th interval. Then we have the flat fifth, which is going to be E flat. Do, 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 do. Forever, they actually called it the devil's fifth because that particular interval or that particular sound was outlawed by the church because it sounded so sinister. Makes it perfect for the blues. Do, 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 do. E note, 5th interval. Then you have the G note, flat 7th, and then back to your A, which is your tonic again. And then it just continues. You have your C, which is also your flat 3rd. Cool, so now we got the scale and we have all the intervals. Let's talk the color tones. The first one that we're going to add is going to be one that's called the major 3rd. So we have that flat 3rd, the C. We're going to add the C sharp. Now this is very much a passing tone and a couple things about it. You're going to hammer on to the C sharp from the C. You're not going to pull off C sharp to the C. It's kind of a one-way road, right? You may have have heard it in different ideas, different rhythm ideas, different songs. A lot of times too, the guys, for example, the C right here, instead of hammering on, they'll just give it this little blues curl, which is a baby bend. To imply that note, but they're not fully bending it. This particular note is only going to sound good over the A7 and the E7. Over the A7, it's the major third. And over the E7, it's your sixth. It's your relative minor. Okay? So do not play this one when you're soloing over the D7 because it's not going to sound that good. So when we put it into play, we get this. Love it. 2 on the G string. O hammer 1. And there it is on our C string. Do, do, to the 2nd fret. Open E string, 3rd fret. Open A string, 3rd fret. But when you get to that 3rd fret, give it a blues curl. I'm not playing this note, not getting all the way there, but I'm playing somewhere between this 3rd fret and this 4th fret. Do, 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 do. Do, do, boo, do, boo, do. Bam, bam. That little bing is a bonus because it's the same idea as here. So that is how you get the minor and major third in there. And that just has a very bluesy color, straightforward, major, but also bluesy. As it just makes it sound like a major chord, but hammering into it is an undeniably bluesy sound. Very fun to whip out of the jam. All right, so the next note that we're going to take a look at is one that's called the 6th. And the 6th is the F sharp. You can think about the 6th as the note that would transform your A to an F sharp minor. It's the relative minor. It's also, you can find it if you have a root like an A note, you can find it by going 1, 2, 3 notes down below that. So we're in the key of A, you find an A note, you go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and you got the F sharp. Now the F sharp is very, very popular in Southern rock. When I think of the 6th, well, not the F sharp specifically, but the 6th tonality. When I think of it, I think of bands like CCR. I think of Stax records like Steve Cropper and these people. Southern rock sounds very, very good. Also very popular in old Western swing, and you can hear it in blues shuffles as well. Okay, so it has a lot of history in blues music. What we're going to do is we're going to bust it out and use it in a solo. It's the 2nd fret of that E string. So if we were to just add it to the shape, we would get 2, 0, 2, 3, 0, 2, 3, 0, 3. Because when we're doing this, we're not thinking about that other color tone. I kind of like to think about the color tones as one at a time. So instead of adding all 3 of them to the scale, I look at them as adding one at a time to the scale. So I wouldn't go, I would just add just this F sharp. Now you can jam and mix them up, but that's kind of how I look at it when I'm learning them. We're going to do a basic riff that sounds like this. Open A, 2 on the E string, open, open A, 2 open, 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 2, open, 2, into our A7. So we get improvise a little there. I'll go back to the lick. Adds a lot of sophistication, an uptown funk flavor to what you got going on. Let's go ahead and play a lick now that uses both the sixth and the major third. We're gonna play the open A. We're gonna go 3, 2, open on the E. To 2 on the C. Do, 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 do. Yep. Then we're gonna play it open. Hammer on the first fret, open E string, open A string, and then finish on the second fret of the E string, which is our sixth interval. So we get very, very, very cool lick. So you can see when you're mixing these together, they also sound amazing. The last one I'm going to take a look at is the 9. The 9 is the funk sound, and you can find the 9 a whole step above the root. So if we're playing blues in A, 9 would be the B note. If I take an A7 and put my ring finger on the B note, I get an A9. Having that 9th right there is great because you can do a lot of things. Sounds great. So that 9th right there, 6th right there, and then the major third right there. So let's talk about now when you can and can't use them, because there are times when it's appropriate to use them and there's times where it's not. The C sharp, the major third, we have 3 chords in our blues. We have our A7, D7, and E7. Our 1, 4, and 5. The major third, the C sharp, major third, and the reason I say major third as opposed to C sharp is because you can think about it and apply it to any key. So if you think about this is the major third, and you think about this is a 1 chord, 4 chord, and a 5 chord, then you can apply these ideas to all 12 keys. So this note here, it's good to go over the A7, your 1 chord, and the E7, your 5 chord. But do not play the C sharp when the harmony goes to the D7. Why is that? Well, for 2 reasons. One is the D7 has a C note, and that C sharp is going to be clashing with that C note quite a bit. The other reason is the D7, in addition to having a C note, also has a D note. So you have a C and a D, and you're trying to play the middle note that's right between them. It's not the sweetest sounding sound. It's going to just create a lot of dissonance. So with the 4 chord, avoid the major third. Now the 6th interval, the F sharp, 6. You can play that over your 1, no problem. So the A7, total fair game. In fact, if you think of the shuffle, it all uses that F sharp sound. So you're good to go over the 1 chord there. Also, over the D7, your 4 chord, F sharp, is the major third. So you can even do some of these bend with Fs, hammer on, but you're good to go with the 6th over the 4 chord. And then the 5 chord. When you play your F sharp over your E7, you get So So that note, the 6th interval, is also good to go over the 5th chord. So the last one we have is the B note, the 9th, and over the A, it's good. Fair game. You put that B note over your A7, and you get an A9. So that one's good to go. When you play it over the D, that B note creates a D6. Cool sound, that country rock sound. So B note is good to go over your 4 chord. And then over your 5 chord, E7, B is just the 5th interval. It's actually really generic. So yeah, you can play it over the E7, but you're not going to get a lot of color out of it. So out of all 3 of the color notes that we learned, you can play all 3 of them over all 3 chords anytime you want, with the only exception of that major 3rd over your 4 chord. And there you have 3 notes that you can add to your pentatonic. With the flat 5th, it's already a 6-note scale. So now you have a 9-note scale, 9 out of the 12. You pick and choose these, and your solo is going to sound a lot more sophisticated and professional. All right? So I hope you dig it. And that is Color Tones Explained. Love it. Color tones, adding color to your solo, adding flavor. You could call them flavor tones if you wanted. You could call them flavorful color tones. As long as you're tasting the rainbow when you shred, it's all good, all right? Think about becoming a Patreon. Cheaper than a cheap cheeseburger. New ukulele every Wednesday and Saturday. So at the very least, make sure you subscribe. Guitar on Monday, and we are changing lives one lick at a time. Take care.